Avatar: The Last Airbender is the latest cartoon to get the live-action remake treatment. The old-timers know that the feelings that the cartoon we watched gave us are indescribable. To be honest, I had to skip some parts of this remake because the original Avatar, The Last Airbender, remains a hugely influential and beloved animated show with stunning world building, deep character writing, and great action. With that in mind, Avatar: The Last Airbender did right and what it did wrong. And don't forget to let us know what you think about this production in the comments. Zuko is the best character. When you watch the original Avatar, it becomes clear pretty quickly that Aang might be the last airbender, but it's Prince Zuko of the Fire Nation who has all the makings of a hero. Tragic backstory, inner conflict, a moral conundrum, and a journey full of ups and downs. The live-action Avatar recognizes this and expands the character, his relationship with his uncle Iroh, and even his conflicted relationship with the Fire Nation. The result is a character that slowly evolves over multiple seasons, making Zuko more complex than just an interesting antagonist. The graphics are really good value for money. One of the hardest things Avatar had to accomplish in live action was bending. It is the cornerstone of the cartoon and what sets it apart from other magic-based fantasies. Still, the special blend of real-life martial arts and fantastic powers was tailor-made for animation. Fortunately, Avatar: The Last Airbender excels in graphics. It combines realistic yet fluid choreography with stunning visual effects, resulting in action that feels intuitive and realistic for show business. We don't see a dozen fighters dancing ludicrously to lift a single boulder. Instead, bending completely becomes an extension of the individual's martial arts. We also see a multitude of techniques being used throughout the season, even within the same type of bending. Katara can use water as a whip in one scene, then turn it into ice and throw discs of ice to attack in the next. Also, given the darker and more adult tone of the remake, we see firebending performed as dangerously as it was implied in the cartoon, leading to some great visuals and some brutal kills. I'm sorry to interrupt the story here. Just for this labor of love, you can like the video and express your opinion about this cartoon series in particular in the comments. If you are still not subscribed to my channel, you can subscribe. Thank you to join members. Don't forget to come to my Discord server for chat and theories, and welcome to my channel and video. World of the Spirit. A big aspect of the original cartoon was Aang's role as the bridge between humans and spirits, and the show slowly built up to the spirit world over the course of 3 seasons. In retrospect, Netflix's Avatar: The Last Airbender shows how important spirits were to the story from the very beginning, introducing spirits like Wan Shi Tong in Season 1 and even bringing in elements from the comics and Korra like the Mist of Lost Souls. This makes the world of the show feel bigger and more connected, showing how the spirits affect and influence the physical world. Also, the spirits look amazing. Past avatars. One of the things that makes the Avatar unique as a hero is that they have past lives. Throughout the original cartoon, Aang occasionally receives wisdom from previous incarnations of the Avatar, which makes the world of the show feel lived in and full of history. The live-action remake introduces Aang's past lives earlier and shows us not only Avatar Roku but also Kyosh and Kuruk to teach Aang important lessons, what he's doing wrong. The pacing bored me to the point of cancer. By adding urgency and prioritizing the big beats of the story, Avatar: The Last Airbender rushes the story and skips all the side stories that were essential to the original. Admittedly, no adaptation can be a 1.1 copy, but the original Avatar in particular always used downtime and episodes about smaller adventures to develop its characters and world. For example, an episode about enemies going to the beach that gave us incredibly deep character work and revelations, or the Tales of Ba Sing Se anthology that brought tears to the eyes of an entire generation of children. These stories will come to you much later, so don't worry, I've rolled up my sleeves. Even if the show tries to include every main character and story beat, the lack of side stories means that the live-action Avatar also introduces those story beats quite appropriately. The fact that Jet and the mechanic are in Omashu at the same time means that the gang has less time to visit smaller towns and feel the impact and reach of war, making the world feel smaller. In an attempt to make Avatar appealing to fans of gritty shows like Game of Thrones, the live action loses something important to the story. Sure, the adult's exploration of war and trauma leads to some interesting moments, but given that the show is still about kids who still experience moments of childish lightness, there's a tonal dissonance that doesn't really work. One moment, you see someone being horribly burned alive by fire, bending, and the next, you see the main trio cracking jokes. Aang's writing, in particular, suffers for this, because he's not the happy-go-lucky kid from the cartoon, but instead a thoughtful character who struggles with his responsibility and yet still makes jokes at awkward moments. This makes the characters, at least in this first season, seem even less complex than their cartoon counterparts. I mean, you're a 12-year-old kid, for God's sake. It drives me crazy when he's talking rationally like that, and then in the next scene, he's making absurd jokes. Maybe you might think that's the way it should be, but friends, we didn't grow up with this. I'm 25 years old, and I was a kid when I watched this, waiting for it to come on TV. When it conflicted with my mother's program, we would cry and fight. In our era, Aang was the same age as us, so he thought and acted like us. When I look at the current Avatar, it's as if there is a 25-year-old boy inside who thinks logically, but it's more like someone who is dead. So I don't want to continue this movie any longer and throw away my childhood. I don't know if you liked it. I don't know. What I want to ask is, think about whether you are sure you remember the Avatar you watched in your childhood. Look, I got angry at night anyway. In the light of all this, instead of continuing the series, I will tell you about them by continuing the story of the cartoon. Yes, friends, we will finish the story and end it here. If you have watched this far, it means you liked the video. You can subscribe to my channel, express your opinions in the comments, or support us by liking the video. Goodbye and see you in the next video.